Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday. We've had a long day of doing herd work, brought close-ups in, moved cows around, got a dry-off group. All that stuff is done. The evening milking is going on right now, and I'm just going to be putting some insulation foam in some of our exhaust fans here. So at the back of our barns, we have tunnel ventilated barns. So we got the big exhaust fans here, and we always kind of struggle in the winter time to keep the barns warm. A little bit of cold air always kind of seeps in and around these exhaust fans. So what we're gonna try and do to prevent that from happening, we got some of that insulating foam. So this stuff is gonna come out of the can. We're just gonna shoot it in here. Should insulate it and prevent air from seeping in there. And hopefully that allows us to keep our barns a little bit warmer over the course of the winter. It's always a struggle, and it doesn't take much air before the back end of your barn is a lot colder than the middle. And then the ventilation just doesn't work good. And then you got stuff freezing up. It takes a lot to prepare for minus 50. Is there some kind of trick to this? Well, if you guys can see that, we snapped the end of the can off in the nozzle. Can't wait to tell Dad I did that with the first can. So I was under the impression that Dad literally just went out and bought the stuff, but apparently it's been sitting there for years and years, so that can was probably bad. We grabbed a different one, and this one worked, so we're gonna try with it. Okay, this is round 2. Oh, there it goes. So we used the first can. I think that's gonna work out pretty good. Definitely fills those gaps. This is exactly what the stuff is made for. It expands in. I think we can fill it up a little bit more. I'm hoping this is an old bottle too though, because I didn't even make it one way around the whole fan and we ran out. So that's gonna be a lot of bottles of this foam. Works good, I think, but that's going to be expensive. It is the next day and it's still wet outside. We had a rainy day yesterday, so I still can't haul manure or haul bales, so we got to find something else to do. So we're just gonna work on getting the barns into winter ventilation mode. It's that time of year again where we got to switch the barns over, and there's quite a few things we got to get done here. So might as well get a start since we can't be out in the field anyway. This afternoon we're gonna adjust some of those inlets on the roof. They're just not all in line, and we're also going to be putting insulation bats in the exhaust fans here. It is a little bit early. We got 20 degrees in the forecast over the next 2 weeks, which is kind of too warm to be switching over to winter ventilation mode, but we want to get something done today anyway instead of just sitting around doing nothing. And we can always just open the doors at the front and the back of the barn, and that'll keep it more than cool enough in here. So we're just waiting on the loader. It's still feeding cows. Once we get that, we'll go up to the roof and adjust those inlets. Got all the insulation bats in the exhaust fans for the freestall barn. Now the loader's available, so we're gonna grab it and adjust the inlets. Got the loader in the group. Up we go. So we're up at the first inlet, and it is supposed to be all the way closed, but it's open, and that's because last winter ice builds up, cable tries to pull it shut, and then it just slides on the cable and then it gets out of calibration. So I think there's 3 or 4 in the barn here that need to be adjusted like this. So the inlets in this barn are dialed. Found a couple pigeon nests. They tried to have some babies in there, I guess. But all cleaned out and ready to see if those inlets are working. I'm just gonna go to, I believe it's just actuators, and we'll run them to 100% open. And then we'll be able to see if they all come down nicely. Just opened all the inlets to 100% open. They're looking good except for the back one on this end. For some reason, a bunch of insulation fell out. Other than that, it looks good. And just by looking at it real quick here, like, it's obviously birds did this. There's sticks and bird crap mixed in with this, so I guess it's going to be really important to make sure these are all shut in the spring and not deal with it in the fall after the birds have buggered it up there already. I think that's the only way they can get into the attic in here, into the ceiling, is when the inlets are a little bit open. So we'll just have to keep a better eye on that, I guess. Another thing we're going to do here before winter is put new door seals on all of them. We did this one last winter, but it looks like they shrank. This seal should come all the way to the edge of the door, and that's really important for the bottom there, because if it doesn't, it's going to let some cold air through and you're going to have a bunch of frost build up there, and it's going to bugger up the bottom of the rail, opening and closing the door in the winter time. So we got to do all the overhead doors with new liners again. What a work, man. We're all done with the ventilation in the barn for now. Still got a few things we got to do there, but for today we're done with that. I'm gonna grab this case loader and we're gonna clean up an old bin pad in a new field that we bought. So back in 2022, we bought this field. There was a rental agreement for it still for this year, so we didn't farm it this year. The neighbor, though, he dropped the straw, we could bale it, and we're gonna go clean it up a little bit right now. There's a bin pad there. Dad already broke it up a bunch, but we're gonna use this case loader right now and try and clean it up completely. The previous farmer, he's a buddy of mine, and he says he's ripped his drill over that bin pad. And I don't know if our drill is going to be as tough as his. We don't want to try it out anyway, so we're going to go and take that bin pad out. So this is the bin pad. Dad's already been out here with the New Holland, breaking it up a bit. He just wanted to see if it was really tough, if we need to bring like a big jackhammer out here with the skid steer or something like that, but no need. He was able to just peel these chunks up with that New Holland, and the New Holland's a lot smaller and weaker than the case loader, so we shouldn't struggle at all. The idea here, we're just gonna try and, as efficiently as possible, grab these chunks and bring them to the other side of the field. Apparently there's a hole somewhere, so I gotta go and find that. He didn't really give me a good description. He just said south side of the field, so I'm gonna go on a little hunt there, I guess. But first, we gotta see if we can scoop this up. Ideally, you know, we could take this whole thing over there in 3 buckets, but that's impossible to grab it all nicely. pretty good first attempt. That's a big chunk. I guess we'll go find that hole now. They did a pretty nice job building this pad, gotta say. A bunch of nice rocks on the bottom. I guess this is the pit he's talking about. Yeah, so we'll just drive in here, dump him in the middle. Maybe he wants to fill this in, I don't know. But good spot for it. Well, that's our final product right there. Looks pretty good. It's gonna take a couple years of going over that with the drill to really smooth it out, but after hopefully a few years, you won't even know the bin pad was here. Dad's got another job for me to do. There's a tree line that's got a lot of big trees in it, and this summer we actually chopped a log beside that tree line. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. A bunch of trees are just growing out into the field, and we're gonna take this loader and just push those trees back in the tree line and try and clean it up a little bit. That is depending on how dry the field is. This field right here, it's pretty sandy, so it dries out really quickly. The field over there is kind of a sandy loam. It's a lot darker, and it usually is muddier for a few days longer than the sandy stuff. So we're gonna head out there and see if we can actually do some work out there. Made it out to that tree line. Field's dry enough to be in here, I think. Right here, you can see the trees are just growing into the field too much. The line kind of bulges out, so we're just gonna try and push this whole section into the tree line a little bit. This is a fun job, man. Just ramming stuff with the payloader, wrecking it, just not holding back at all. It is, it's good fun, but you gotta be careful too. This glass, it's already cracked. I didn't do that, it's been cracked for a long time, but to get another big hunk of tree through the window here would not be so much fun, expensive. It's really easy for a big branch to whip back as you're trying to push it forward and just take it out. We're up in the roof of the barn again, freestall barn. We got the cage this time. We're trying to replace one of these exhaust chimneys. The motor just doesn't work anymore, so we got a brand new motor right there, ready to replace. Dad's just gonna try and find the breaker to kill the electricity to it, and then I can start rewiring. Eyes for shit. Yeah, have it.
I never get to see the barn from this height.
Dad's gonna go turn the breaker on again, see if this thing fires up. So we just finished with that fan. It's going. It's the first time that all 10 of those exhaust chimneys are running at the same time for probably a couple of years. There's always one that has something up with it that's not running, but it's mostly just our part, not replacing it right away. But all the chimney exhaust fans in the freestyle barn are good and running now. I will tell you guys though, I just did something very stupid, and I will tell you guys about it. I don't have to. It'd be very easy for me just to like not tell you guys about this, but for the sake of being authentic and showing my own mistakes, I stuck my finger in that exhaust fan and chopped up the end of my finger. You might say, Jan, why the heck did you do that? So basically what I was thinking, I still had to tighten up the bolts that hold the fan up in the chimney, and there was only like an inch of room between where the fan was spinning and where I had to tighten those bolts up. So I was like, oh, I'll just like stick my finger up there, let it graze the tip of my finger, and then I'll know that's how far I could stick my fingers up there to tighten the bolt. And then also a little bit of those intrusive thoughts, you know, I kind of lost to those too. And I slowly stuck my finger up there. I got the audio, I'll play that for you guys here. Yeah, that was the audio of my finger in the fan. I can't play the rest of the audio from that clip because it's kind of inappropriate for YouTube. But yeah, so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Dad, you know, I was like, put me on the ground. I'm done. I need to go wrap this thing up. He was kind of mad, you know, you're such an idiot. I am an idiot. That is very true. So oh well, we'll move on. I probably won't stick my finger in a fan ever again, so at least I got away with minimal damage. There's two cuts. The first one kind of like took the top layer of skin off, and the second one is like a centimeter down on my finger, and it stopped at the nail and probably the bone. But yeah, that one's not yet a centimeter deep either, so I should be up and running again pretty soon. But I don't know what else to tell you guys. I'm not perfect, even though it's very easy to make myself look perfect with video editing, but you guys have the truth here today. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. If you want to make me feel better about myself, drop your stupid stories down there too. I know when I was a kid, I touched the stove with my 2 fingers and just completely roasted my fingers. Again, same thing. Although I had more of an excuse back then because I was only like 6 or 7 years old. But yeah, if you guys want to tell me about your silly stories, it probably would make me feel better. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram @SaskDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.